Good evening, YouTubers. I'm running kind of a dark theme here in the sense of my lighting, my ambient lighting. I've got this thing going for ambient lighting effects and so forth. Call this my dark theme. Anyway, I wanted to just talk about, since I've had this website up, the one that you're looking at, for since the 90s. The web was young then. I was rushing to get this stuff on as soon as it was practical. Mosaic and then Netscape and all that, the browser wars. I've told this story before, I think. If I haven't told it on YouTube, I've written it down so I could put a link down below to a little bit of my narrative about the early history of the web, which I was a part of. Now, are we going to have mouse misbehaviors? Looks like we might. So this page just snuck off here. Let's see if I go full screen. View full screen. Let's see what happens. Okay, you're going to call that full screen. Oh my goodness. I wonder if that got caught on video. This is pretty interesting. So what I wanted, okay, how do I get a URL out of this? Let's try something. Let's hit the screen. Oh, nothing happening there. We better leave full screen here. Exit full screen. And that jumps over there and jumps back. I'm kind of, letting the tape roll on this because this behavior is so strange and anomalous and crazy that, you know what, I think I've turned on some kind of weird setting, like vision impaired or something like that. Everything is very, very strange. I'm going to quit Firefox, close tabs. Let's do Chrome. How about it? See if we have some. So we didn't have this choice of browsers. Actually, I kind of lie. From the early days, we had quite a few browser choices. There was Mosaic, and then Internet Explorer. Microsoft got into the game pretty early, and of course Opera, and of course, if you want to go into non-graphical browsers, see what's happening here. I'm getting my Launchpad is wanting to play games, and I'm not really caring to look at the Launchpad right now. So if I can make it go away. I am now in Chrome. I can move the window. Okay, things are looking better. So I've wasted a lot of your time. Let's just quick go there. Synergetics on the web. This one I got up really early onto the web, right in the beginning of the renaissance of browser world. And these pages, I don't touch them now. I kind of leave them. I have added a couple links here and there to show that I'm still around. But my philosophy of the web is don't destroy, leave things immutable, and so people's links don't break, right? If you're always in there churning your website, changing addresses, then all the work that other people do to make links, which they may do, it's very lazy to just rely on search engines all the time. If there are things you want to see that people link to, make hyperlinks yourself. And don't just have that be about ads and AdWords. Like when you make a link, it shouldn't be just because you're trying to do some business or something. I don't know. A lot of abuse of the web, isn't there? So if you go to the home page of this thing, Synergetics on the web, I had that epic email exchange with Dr. Suber at Earlham College about whether this was actually a philosophy site or not, and I think the quote that convinced him ultimately, at least about Synergetics, if not my website, but I quoted it at my website, is the integration of geometry and philosophy in a single conceptual system, providing a common language and accounting for both the physical and the metaphysical. Direct quote from Synergetics. Now your immediate reaction could be, oh, but that's crazy, that's impossible, or how highfalutin, how arrogant, how, you can start to react to it sentimentally. as a statement that it's like grossly overblown. You can rush to judgment. But the point I'm making is simply that's clearly somebody who thinks they're a philosopher. Somebody philosophically minded wants to give us a philosophy. That's pretty obvious. Whether we think it can be done or not, that's not the issue. Let's say it can't be done, okay? So it's, oh, okay. So now these guys are back. See, I'm not asking for you guys. I don't have any interest in launching a dang thing right now. I could swear much more. And my mouse is being pokey and stupid and slow. And what the heck, okay? So I want to show you GSTs, and then we'll get out of here. Cut and run, man. GST2 is probably the more complicated, so we'll start there with this chart. I've explained this before, in writing, not in writing. Basically, it's classical economics will teach you the same thing, that there's such a thing as an opportunity cost. And so if we take all our wealth and know-how and make only weaponry or guns, that will be at the expense of, we do buy that there is a finite amount of time and energy, especially human beings and their brains and, their commitment. You can't take it a lot for granted that you've got the loyalty of the people to do X, Y, or Z. They have to buy into it. By the time you go through all that, right, it's pretty much either or. You've wasted all your time recruiting people into the military. You're not going to suddenly turn them into peaceniks. So, like, the inertia is such that if you move all the way in this direction, it's going to be hard to steer it back, right? So here we are looking at this trade-off in how we use our resources. And the thing is, your horizon of opportunity is going to change relative to how much you know, what your knowledge of the generalized principles is. And that's a fancy way of saying how good's your science, right? So if you got 7 billion people and you forget your science all of a sudden, you wake up one morning and no one remembers how to do anything, it's going to be terrible. Now, if you just, or they only remember how to grow food, which is an important thing, but what does that even mean? Today it's very technical. There's a lot of engineering involved in agriculture today. I'm just saying without a high civilization, quote unquote high, we couldn't maintain 7 billion people the way we're doing. So it's good that we don't forget every morning, our jobs, our knowledge, whatever it is we do. It all fits together in an intricate puzzle. And, the days go by and we're trying to make things better. But if we throw all our money into the wrong thing, then we're stuck, right? So that's what this chart's about. And it's saying if you know more science, then what you can accomplish in principle changes. And if it gets to the point where you could take care of everybody at a higher living standard than they currently have, let's just say that you figured that out, then you see relative to that we're paying a big price and not going in that direction. So the two arrows here, dystopia and relative utopia, they're premised on different horizons of possibility. The people who think we can do much, much better by the world, that we can really improve things for everybody, they want to go in this direction, towards relative utopia, living rate. Whereas if you think, man, it's a shrinking pie and we got to keep what we've got and fight for it and maybe take other people's pie, like in Venezuela maybe, there's rumors that there might be some oil there. How do we get it? And we might need some weapons. And so there's this whole other approach, kind of, from my point of view, kind of a caveman, kind of obsolete, but still, we got a lot of people, adults, who think this certain way. I put the Pentagon as an icon. Now, I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask that to go away. But I put the Pentagon in both places to say that it's on both sides of this issue, which, I did this all way before 9/11, believe you me. Didn't think about the Pentagon attacking itself or whatever that inside job thesis is. Don't know. But it's fun to have the Pentagon, like, in a quandary because it's a big institution and it's not a one-headed beast, is it? So now we have GST1, and this is called the be-do have projects completion cycle diagram. I talk about this more in writing in other places. So this is kind of a late night overview in my mouse misbehave mode. It's because there's a layer called launch somewhere. Let's see, Alt Tab. See, there's nothing about launching here. I don't want to launch. I'd like to kill this, remove from the dock even. I can still see the icons of these launch icons are still back there. Damn them. So I have a lot right now. I have like TV, I have camera, I have all kinds of toys, and that's just me. And what is it that we have as a planet? You know, we have jet airplanes, we have nuclear power, we have nuclear missiles, we have all this stuff. That's what civilization creates, and this relates to that horizon of opportunity, and that what you think and plan and hope for be enough to like make a person not want to buy a Mac if they see how hard I'm fighting to not have these icons in my way. I don't care about launch. So yeah, here we go. Be do have. So you'll think about the future and what you can do in a different way depending on what's in your inventory. There's a feedback cycle implied here. And this all relates to what I was just talking about, which is what you think is possible overall. And if you have a very pessimistic view, then you're going to head for the guns. It's like in a poker game. You're losing your poker, maybe you go for the gun, something like that. More of my ambient lighting. Take a little sip of my teacher's whiskey here. And go on to GST3 because I've talked about this one. There's only 3. VirtualBox. Do I even have VirtualBox on here? Are you kidding me? I don't think I have it installed. I just clicked it, so let's see what happens if VirtualBox shows up. Whoa. It looks like it did. Oracle VirtualBox Manager? What the heck is this? Operating system Linux? I didn't think I had any VirtualBox on this computer, so I'm amazed. Okay, onwards. GST3. Now this is a general systems theory view. The Earth is not a closed system thermodynamically. It's part of the solar system. It's getting a vast amount of energy from the sun. And so that whole idea about the universe running down and increasing entropy, fine. Let's take that. Let's not argue that right now. Regardless, Terry, I'm sorry. I'm not going to argue that. But what about Earth? Does Earth have to run downhill locally? No, it's not. It's a closed system. It doesn't have to get more. There's no argument on the basis of entropy that we have to get more disorganized on this planet anytime soon. It's not a good political excuse. You can't use thermodynamics to excuse wars and stuff like that. It's not about a universal law or something. I know you might like it to be, if you really like war that much. And I assure you there will always be war in the sense. Like if you're worried about not having the drama of like a hero seeking to slay the dragon or whatever, archetypal drama, don't worry. That's the eternal stuff. You'll always have that. But as far as this bloody outward stuff where you're always like blowing people into smithereens, that's very 1900s. I don't know. I think it's kind of retro. So here the sun is like an electrical outlet plugged into, well, no, the earth is like the sun is like the electrical outlet. And the earth is plugged into it, getting energy. And current is based on the value of, you can see from Bitcoin and all that, at least it's welded in public's mind now, that the value of Bitcoin has something to do with the energy it takes to maintain the Bitcoin system. And people talk about how much that is and how it's like, can we afford it? And good, I'm glad that the fact that we're all thinking about energy and currency in the same breath is a big step because it gets us away from petrodollars in particular. I mean, there's nothing wrong with petro. It's just that we're running out, okay? And also, it's just one energy source. And the sun is ultimately the source of petro because that's, any organic matter that you're getting out of the ground that's based on previous biological life. That's what most people think fossil fuels are. That's why they call them fossil fuels, right? And hydroelectric, that's all based on sun, precipitation, rain, comes back, fills the river, back down through the dam, around and around and around. It's not all because of humans. So this giant economic ecosystem machine, Earth, it's not a machine, it's a living organism. It doesn't matter. What's a machine if it's all a machine? It doesn't mean anything. Anything that's everything doesn't mean anything. So it's all a machine means nothing, okay? It's all alive. It's all alive, it's all dead, it's all whatever. But it's not stupid, whatever it is, and we are, as humans. It's our intelligence that's limiting us more than, by intelligence I don't mean clever, well, I don't know what I mean, all right. But I think that if there is original sin, it's kind of to say that the planet is not lacking in energy or other resources, but we, in our imagination, and I would say our faith in, what demon would put us here like this with no hope of a good life? And then that could be your question, but what's the premise there? That there is no hope of a good life. And I'm thinking, in planetary terms, we could definitely do better. And if we imagine that your currency is really what's the faith and credit that's behind it is of the sun, really. It's not humans. We would not trust the universe if humans were running it, let's put it that way. Good thing they're not. And hallelujah and so forth. But we still participate, and what we do is important. We are decision makers. We can screw up. It's just don't assume that humans are the source of all greatness and value. That's what I'm saying. They're participants. So in this economics, general systems theory, whatever, it's not one of those that says all value comes from the work of humans or that humans are responsible for all that's of value. Wouldn't say that. Wouldn't say that at all. All right, I'm going to stop here now, and I'll explain more of that website in a future video. I just want to go through those three general systems theory ones. You will notice there's a lot of reading and links at the bottom of GST2, and I would go back to it, but I'm still fighting the launch issue. Let's see. I may have finally found a way out. If I hit this minus, oh, that doesn't do anything. That's just about adding to launch. Okay. I guess that's a desktop that's always there or something. Well, what I'm doing is fighting with the mouse. Oh, I got it over there. Okay, so now all I wanted to show you is the readings at the bottom of GST2, and then I'm out of here. Just to encourage you to come visit yourself. Oh, there's a lot of explanation here in using Fuller's jargon, Bucky's jargon about lawyer capitalism, law cap, and then follows the links that I want you to feel free to take a look at. All right, I'm going to close it out. We'll see you next time.